You have read so much advice about sleep that the advice itself has started to feel like one more thing keeping you awake. Rest, it turns out, was never meant to be a single trick you finally get right. It is a whole system, quietly working, made of your mind, your body, and the room around you. What actually makes a night restorative, and where do you even begin? Here is the part most guides never say. The piece you start with matters less than the moment you stop searching for the perfect piece. Welcome to Sleepy Science. Tonight we lay it all down slowly, one gentle layer at a time, and let the many small parts find each other on their own. Let the weight of the day loosen from behind your eyes. You are somewhere the mind, the body, and the quiet room have already begun working together on your behalf, asking nothing back from you tonight. We start not with a fix, but with the first small thing your body already knows how to do, and that is where the first fact begins. Underneath everything we explore tonight sits one quiet question. What actually makes sleep restorative? And where do you begin when the advice feels endless? Sleep is not a single switch that flips off at night. It is a living process, built from stages that repeat and layer through the dark hours. Scientists divide it into two broad worlds. Non-REM sleep, where the body settles and mends, and REM sleep, where the mind sorts and dreams. Each night, you move between them many times, like tides moving in and out of a quiet shore. You do not have to understand it all at once. For now, simply notice that sleep has a shape, and that shape is where healing lives. The first doorway into sleep is called Stage 1, a brief and gentle threshold. It usually lasts only a few minutes, a soft space between being awake and being gone. In this stage, your muscles begin to loosen, your breathing slows, and your brain waves shift from the quick rhythm of alertness to something slower and calmer. You might feel yourself drifting, or notice a small twitch as your body lets go. If someone spoke your name, you would likely wake and swear you were never asleep. Stage 1 is light and easily broken, a threshold rather than a room. It is the first sign that the system is beginning to release you from the effort of the day. Stage 2 of sleep is where you spend the largest share of your night, nearly half of it. For most adults, here your heart rate settles further and your body temperature quietly drops. Your brain produces two small signatures scientists can see on a monitor. Sleep spindles, which are quick bursts of activity, and K-complexes, which are single large waves. These are not random noise. Researchers believe spindles help protect sleep from being disturbed and play a role in moving memories toward long-term storage. In Stage 2, you are truly asleep now, though not yet in the deepest place. The mind is beginning its quiet filing work, sorting the ordinary hours of your day while you rest. Then comes Stage 3, the deepest form of non-REM sleep, often called slow-wave sleep. Its name comes from the large, slow brain waves that roll through the mind like swells on a calm sea. This is the hardest stage to wake from. If someone stirred you now, you would feel heavy, fogged, and confused for a moment. Slow-wave sleep is where much of the body's physical repair happens. Growth hormone is released, tissues mend, and the immune system does quiet work. This is also the stage most tied to feeling truly rested in the morning. When people say they slept deeply, this is the place they mean. The still, restoring floor of the night. REM sleep is the fourth and strangest state, its name standing for rapid eye movement. Beneath closed lids, your eyes dart back and forth as if watching something unfold. Your brain becomes almost as active as when you are awake, yet your body goes still and soft, temporarily unable to move. This gentle paralysis keeps you from acting out the vivid dreams that fill this stage. REM is where most of your dreaming happens, where memory and emotion are woven together. It is a paradox, a mind wide awake inside a body deeply at rest. Far from being empty time, REM is thought to be essential for emotional balance and for making sense of what you feel. These stages do not happen once and end. Instead, they repeat in cycles, each lasting roughly 90 minutes. In a full night, you move through 4 to 6 of these cycles, rising and falling between light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. The shape of the night is not flat. Early cycles hold more deep, slow-wave sleep, when the body does its heaviest repair. Later cycles, toward morning, hold more REM, when the mind does its emotional sorting. This is why the last hours of sleep matter as much as the first. They are not extra, but a different kind of healing. Your night is a rhythm, not a single long blank space. Because sleep moves in cycles, the moment you wake matters more than you might think. Waking at the end of a cycle, in lighter sleep, tends to feel gentle and clear. Waking in the middle of deep, slow-wave sleep can leave you groggy and heavy, a feeling scientists call sleep inertia. This is why a shorter nap can sometimes feel more refreshing than a longer one. It ends before you sink too deep. It also explains why an alarm can feel cruel on some mornings and kind on others. Your body is not being difficult. It is simply somewhere in its 90-minute rhythm, and the rhythm does not always match the clock on the wall. So what actually decides? When you feel sleepy, scientists describe it with an elegant idea called the two-process model. Two separate systems work together, quietly, beneath your awareness. The first builds your need for sleep across the day. The second sets the timing, telling your body when night has come. When these two systems line up, sleep arrives easily and feels deep. When they fall out of step, from late nights, travel, or stress, sleep becomes shallow and hard to hold. Understanding this model is the beginning of the answer to our question. Restorative sleep is not one trick. It is two natural processes, working in harmony, that you can learn to support rather than fight. The first of those two processes is called sleep pressure. From the moment you wake, your desire for sleep begins to build slowly and steadily, hour by hour. The longer you stay awake, the stronger it grows. This is why you feel most alert in the morning and heaviest late at night. Sleep pressure is a kind of quiet weight, gathering all day, like water filling a basin. When you finally lie down, that pressure is what pulls you under into deep sleep. It is also why a long afternoon nap can leave you wide awake at bedtime. You have released some of the weight too early, and the basin has not filled again. The molecule behind sleep pressure has a name: adenosine. As your brain uses energy through the day, adenosine slowly builds up in the spaces between your cells. As it rises, it dampens the brain's alertness and makes you feel drowsy. It is, in a gentle sense, the chemical measure of how long you have been awake. This is also why caffeine keeps you alert. It blocks the places where adenosine would normally attach, hiding the signal of tiredness for a while. But the adenosine is still there, waiting. When the caffeine fades, the full weight of it returns at once. So our question begins to turn. Restorative sleep may not be something you force, but a pressure you allow to release. The second process has no need for tiredness at all. It is your internal clock, a rhythm that runs close to 24 hours, whether you sleep or not. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm, from Latin, words meaning about a day. This clock rises and falls in a steady wave, lifting your alertness in the morning, dipping it in the early afternoon, and lowering it again at night. It works even in constant darkness, ticking on its own. This is the second half of the two-process model, not the weight of tiredness, but the timing of day and night. Together, pressure and rhythm decide when sleep feels natural and when it feels like swimming against a current. This inner clock is not set by guesswork. It is tuned mostly by light, the strongest signal your body has for telling day from night. Morning light, especially bright daylight, tells your clock that the day has begun and helps anchor it firmly. Evening darkness tells it that night is near and rest should follow. When light and dark arrive at steady times, your rhythm stays smooth and predictable. When they scatter, from late screens, dim days, or shifting schedules, the clock loses its footing. Much of the advice that overwhelms people can be gathered under this one gentle idea. Give your body clear, consistent light by day and soft darkness by night, and the rhythm mostly takes care of itself. When darkness comes, your body begins to release a hormone called melatonin, often described as the hormone of night. It does not force sleep so much as announce it. As melatonin rises in the evening, it quietly signals every part of the body that the time for rest is near. Levels stay high through the night and fade toward morning as light returns. Bright light in the evening can delay this release, which is one reason late screens can make sleep harder to reach. Melatonin is not a sleeping pill your body makes. It is more like a gentle messenger, moving through you in the dark, carrying the same quiet message to each cell. Night has come, and you are allowed to let go. At the center of your circadian rhythm sits a tiny cluster of cells in the brain, no larger than a grain of rice. It is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it serves as your master clock, tucked deep in a region called the hypothalamus. It sits just above where the nerves from your eyes cross. This position is no accident. It lets the master clock receive light information directly, keeping its timing tuned to the world outside. From here, it sends signals that coordinate rhythms across your entire body, your temperature, your hormones, your alertness. One small conductor, keeping a vast orchestra of cells in time, so that the whole body knows, together, when it is day and when it is night. Remarkably, that master clock is not the only clock you carry. Nearly every organ and tissue in your body holds its own small timekeeper, a set of genes that rise and fall across the day. Your liver, your heart, even your skin keep their own quiet rhythms. The master clock in the brain acts like a conductor, keeping all these smaller clocks in step with each other and with the outside world. When your sleep and light stay regular, the whole orchestra plays in tune. When they scatter, the clocks drift apart, and you can feel it as fatigue, fog, or a body that seems out of sync with itself. Restorative sleep, it turns out, is a whole-body agreement about time. There is a reason we cannot live without sleep, and science now sees several at once. For a long time, this was one of biology's quieter mysteries, since sleep leaves an animal still and unguarded, and nature rarely keeps something so costly without good cause. Today, the answers gather rather than compete. Sleep restores the body, sorts and stores memory, clears the brain, and steadies our emotions. No single explanation covers it all, which is exactly the point of our journey tonight. Sleep is not one repair. It is a system of many repairs, layered into the same quiet hours. The reason we cannot live without it is that it does so many different kinds of healing at once, each one essential. One of sleep's clearest gifts is memory. During the night, your brain does not simply rest. It replays. In deep, slow-wave sleep, the day's experiences are quietly reactivated and moved from short-term holding into more lasting storage. Scientists call this consolidation. It is why a good night's sleep, after learning something, helps it stick, and why sleepless nights leave the day before feeling blurred. Sleep spindles, those small bursts in stage 2, appear to help carry memories along this path. In a sense, your mind spends the night deciding what to keep and what to let fade. You wake not only rested but subtly rearranged. What matters settled more deeply into place. Sleep does not only save memories, it also helps you understand them. During REM sleep, the brain makes new connections between ideas, linking pieces of experience that seemed unrelated while you were awake. This is thought to be part of why problems can feel clearer in the morning, and why sleep is tied to creativity and insight. The dreaming brain plays with meaning, testing combinations the waking mind would never try. Many people have solved a stubborn problem or seen an old worry differently, only after a night's sleep. The mind at night is not idle. It is quietly weaving your scattered hours into something more whole, so that morning brings not just rest, but a subtly wiser view. Perhaps sleep's most tender work is emotional. During REM sleep, the brain processes the feelings of the day, softening the sharp edges of difficult experiences. One idea in neuroscience is that REM sleep helps strip the emotional charge from a memory while keeping the memory itself, so the hard moment remains, but its sting fades. This is why a painful day can feel more bearable after sleep, and why sleepless nights leave emotions raw and close to the surface. In a way, the dreaming mind is a quiet healer, tending to what hurt during the day. Much of the overwhelm people carry into the dark is not a flaw to fix, but something sleep itself was built to gently soothe. Sleep is also when the brain cleans itself. During deep sleep, a system called the glymphatic system becomes far more active than in waking hours. Tiny channels open wider around your brain cells, and fluid flows through, washing away waste that built up during the day. Among the substances cleared are proteins linked to long-term brain health. In a real sense, the sleeping brain rinses itself clean each night, like a tide moving through quiet streets. This is one reason deep sleep feels so restoring, and why too little of it leaves the mind foggy and dull. Rest is not empty. Beneath your stillness, a quiet washing is taking place, clearing space for a clearer tomorrow. The body, too, does its repair in the dark. During deep, slow-wave sleep, the release of growth hormone rises, helping tissues mend and muscles recover from the day. Cells divide and renew. Small injuries begin to heal, and energy stores are quietly refilled. The immune system also uses sleep to do much of its work, which is why rest matters so deeply when you are unwell. This is the physical side of restorative sleep, not glamorous, but constant and faithful. While you lie still, 1,000 small repairs are underway across your body. You are not simply pausing at night. You are being rebuilt, gently and without effort, by a system that has done this every night of your life. Because sleep does so many jobs, losing it costs you in many ways at once. None of what follows is meant to alarm you. It is simply the other side of the same truth. Because sleep heals so many things, it is worth protecting. After even a single short night, attention wavers, reactions slow, and modes darken. Memory falters, since the night's filing work was cut short. Emotions run closer to the surface, because REM had less time to soften them. Over longer stretches, poor sleep is linked to weaker immunity and greater strain on the heart and mind. And the good news hidden here is that most of this repair returns quietly, the moment good sleep returns. Now, a picture is coming into focus. Restorative sleep rests on 3 pillars, working together as one system. The first is your biology, the stages, the cycles, the 2 natural processes of pressure and rhythm. The second is your environment, the light, the darkness, the temperature and quiet around you. The third is your psychology, the state of your mind as you approach the night, calm or racing. No single pillar carries sleep alone. This is why one piece of advice rarely fixes everything, and why so much guidance feels overwhelming. The answer is not one trick, but a system with 3 gentle sides, each supporting the others as you move toward rest. The environment pillar is often the simplest place to begin. A cool room helps, because your body naturally lowers its temperature to fall asleep, and a warm space works against that quiet drop. Darkness matters too, since even small amounts of light can nudge your inner clock and thin your sleep. Quiet, or steady, gentle sound, helps the mind stop scanning for what might be wrong. None of these ask effort from you. They are conditions. You arrange once and then simply rest inside. Cool, dark, and calm. 3 small settings that let the biology do its work. Sometimes, the first step out of feeling overwhelmed is not a new habit, but a softer room. The third pillar, psychology, is where many restless nights are truly won or lost. A racing mind, a worried heart, the pressure to fall asleep. These can hold sleep at arm's length, even when the body is tired and the room is right. This is why calming the mind matters as much as any schedule or setting. And here, our question turns for the first time. We began by asking, what makes sleep restorative, and where to begin? It now seems the beginning is not a single trick to master, but a system to gently support biology, environment, and mind, each softened in turn. That is where the next part of our journey begins. You've been with us for a while now, and your breathing has likely softened without you noticing. A soft subscribe helps another sleepless mind find this sanctuary too. Now, let's pause together, one quiet breath at a time. Right now, without your asking, your body is already lowering its own temperature, the way it does every night. The cooling you just heard about has been quietly beginning since you lay down. The question that opened tonight, what makes rest restorative, and where to start, is starting to soften. Not into one answer, but into something you can feel. The mending has 3 sides, and none of them ask you to try harder. Notice the weight of your body where it rests. That heaviness is the pressure of the day releasing, exactly as it was built to. What comes next follows the quiet mind. The third pillar, the one hardest to arrange, loosening on its own. As darkness settles, a tiny gland deep in your brain begins its quiet work. The pineal gland releases melatonin, the hormone that tells every cell the night has come. During daylight, a bright light hitting your eyes keeps this release switched off. But as evening dims, the signal fades, and melatonin rises like a soft tide. This chemical does not force you to sleep. Instead, it lowers your guard, gently opening the door to rest. Your body has followed this rhythm for as long as humans have existed, tuned to the setting sun. Even now, in your quiet room, that ancient timing is unfolding inside you, unhurried and sure. Melatonin listens most closely to one thing: light. Special cells in your retina, separate from those you see with, sense the blue wavelengths of morning and evening. When these cells detect brightness, they send a message that halts melatonin. When they sense darkness, the hormone flows freely. This is why a bright screen late at night can quietly delay your sleep, tricking your brain into thinking the day still lingers. Jing, warm light in the evening, does the opposite, letting the tide rise on schedule. Your inner clock was built for a world lit by fire and stars, and it still reads light as its truest signal. There is a second hormone that shapes your day, and it moves in the opposite direction. Cortisol rises in the early hours before dawn, reaching its peak shortly after you wake. This surge helps lift you from sleep, sharpening focus and readying the body for movement. Across the day, cortisol slowly falls, reaching its lowest point around midnight. When this rhythm runs smoothly, mornings feel clearer and nights feel calmer. But stress can push cortisol up at the wrong hours, leaving you wired when you long to rest. Right now, as you lie still, your cortisol is drifting toward its gentle floor, easing you towards sleep. Your body cools itself to fall asleep, and this drop is one of sleep's quiet secrets. In the evening, your core temperature begins to fall by roughly 2 degrees Fahrenheit, a little over 1 degree Celsius, reaching its lowest point in the early morning. This cooling is not random. It works alongside melatonin, signaling that the time for rest has arrived. A cooler core lets the brain slip more easily into deep sleep, smoothing the path into the night's deepest stages. So as you rest, your body is gently lowering its own thermostat, quietly preparing the ground for stillness, degree by unhurried degree. When you finally sleep, your brain begins clearing away the adenosine that gathered all day. And this quiet washing out is part of what makes morning feel new. Through the long hours of waking, that molecule pressed down as the growing weight of sleepiness. But rest is when the tide turns. As you sink into the deeper stages, the brain drains that pressure away, lightening the load hour by hour. This is why a full night can leave you feeling not just rested, but genuinely refreshed, as though something heavy has been set down. Right now, the release you have been waiting for all day is beginning, softly, from the inside. Caffeine works by wearing a clever disguise. Its shape is close enough to adenosine that it slips into the same receptors in your brain. But instead of signaling sleepiness, it simply blocks the message, hiding the tiredness that was already there. This is why coffee feels like energy, though it creates none. The adenosine keeps building behind the locked door, waiting. When the caffeine finally clears, the tiredness it hid returns all at once, sometimes heavier than before. That is why an evening cup can quietly haunt your midnight, keeping the door propped open. Understanding this helps you time caffeine so it never steals your night. Deep within your brain sits a master clock, a cluster of cells above where your optic nerves cross. This tiny region, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, keeps time for your entire body. It sets the rhythm for melatonin, cortisol, temperature, and countless other cycles. Left alone in constant darkness, this clock runs on a rhythm close to 24 hours, remarkably steady. But it does not work in isolation. Every day it checks itself against the outside world, adjusting to stay in step. Like a conductor keeping an orchestra together, it holds the many rhythms of your body in gentle harmony, so that sleep and waking arrive when they should. Your inner clock cannot see time on its own, so it relies on outside signals called Zeitgebers, a word meaning time givers. The strongest of these is light, especially the bright light of morning. When sunlight reaches your eyes soon after waking, it resets the master clock, anchoring your rhythm to the real day. Other cues help too, such as regular meals, movement, and the steady rhythm of temperature. Without these signals, the clock slowly drifts. This is why morning light matters so much, and why long stretches indoors can leave your rhythm loose and wandering. Each day, the world gently retunes the clock you carry inside. Something remarkable happens in your deepest sleep. During the slow, quiet waves of deep sleep. Your body releases a surge of growth hormone. In children, this hormone builds bone and body. In adults, it does the quieter work of repair, mending tissue, restoring muscle, and refreshing cells worn by the day. Most of this release happens in the first few hours of night, tied closely to that deepest stage of sleep. Miss those hours, and the repair is missed with them. This is one reason sleep feels so restorative. While your mind rests, your body is quietly rebuilding itself, cell by cell, in the dark. When you eat, can shift your inner clock almost as much as when you see light. While the master clock in your brain follows the sun, smaller clocks live in your liver, gut, and other organs, and these listen closely to food. Eating late at night can nudge these organ clocks out of step with the brain, leaving your body slightly divided against itself. A steady schedule of meals during daylight helps keep every clock aligned. Researchers now believe that regular meal timing is a quiet but powerful cue for health. So the rhythm of your table becomes part of the rhythm of your rest. Exercise, too, speaks to your inner clock, and the timing of movement carries its own message. Morning activity, paired with daylight, tends to strengthen your rhythm, helping you feel alert by day and sleepy by night. Gentle movement in the afternoon can deepen the sleep that follows. But intense exercise, very late in the evening, can raise your core temperature and cortisol, quietly pushing sleep further away. The body reads motion as a signal about the time of day. When movement and light and rest all agree, the whole system settles into an easy, natural flow, and sleep arrives like something you no longer have to chase. These many rhythms do not work alone. Melatonin, cortisol, temperature, and sleep pressure all weave together into a single, coordinated descent into rest. As evening comes, melatonin rises, cortisol falls, your core cools, and adenosine presses down, all at once. No single signal carries the whole weight. Instead, they overlap like instruments in a quiet piece of music, each supporting the others. When they align, sleep feels effortless. When one falls out of step, the whole night can feel harder. Understanding this is the beginning of understanding sleep itself. It is not one switch, but a gathering of many gentle forces, moving together in the dark. When these signals fall out of alignment, we feel it plainly. Jet lag is the clearest example. When you fly across time zones, your master clock still holds the old schedule, while the new world runs on a different one. For a few days, your body is caught between them, sleepy at noon and wide awake at midnight. The clock adjusts slowly, shifting by only about an hour a day, guided by the light of the new place. This lag reveals something quiet and true. Your rhythm is real, physical, and steady, not a habit, you can simply decide to change, but a living clock that turns at its own pace. A milder version of this misalignment visits many people every week. Staying up late and sleeping in on weekends can shift your clock, so that Monday morning feels like a small dose of jet lag without ever leaving home. Researchers call this social jet lag, the gap between the rhythm your body wants and the schedule your life demands. Over time, this mismatch can wear on mood, focus, and health. The gentle remedy is consistency, keeping your sleep and wake times close from day to day. Your clock loves regularity. When you honor its steady pace, it rewards you with mornings that feel lighter and nights that come more easily. Step back, and a single picture appears. Sleep is not a thing that simply happens to you. It is a system built from hormones, light, temperature, and timing, all working in quiet coordination. Every night, this system prepares the ground, lowering melatonin's gate, cooling the body, easing cortisol down, and letting sleep pressure carry you into the deep. When you learned where to begin, you were really learning how to work with this system rather than against it. What makes sleep restorative is not one perfect habit, but the many rhythms of your body moving together, as they are moving now, gently, toward rest. We began by asking, what actually makes sleep restorative, and where a person might even start. Piece by piece, the answer has been changing shape. It is no longer a single trick or a single hour, but a web of quiet rhythms, each one real, each one already turning inside you tonight. The place to begin was never one thing to fix. It was learning to see the whole system and to stop fighting the tide that was always ready to carry you. The rhythms have all been leaning the same way for a while now, and something in you has quietly leaned with them. Your breath has grown a little longer, the space between thoughts a little wider. Nothing here asks to be understood or held. Let one more breath ease out slowly, and feel how the whole system is still moving on its own, gently, without needing anything from you. We'll keep drifting through this together, unhurried. The mind at bedtime often does the opposite of what the body is ready for. As the room goes dark and your muscles begin to soften, the thinking part of your brain can quietly speed up. Researchers call this cognitive arousal, a state where attention keeps scanning for problems, even though nothing in the room needs solving. It is not a flaw in you. It is a leftover from a time when the safest moment to plan was the still moment before rest. Your body settles into the mattress, while your thoughts stay a half step behind, still checking the day. Understanding this gap is the first quiet doorway into the mind's part of the system, and it changes how the rest of the night can feel. There is a second kind of arousal that lives in the chest more than the head. Emotional arousal at bedtime is the low hum of feeling. Worry, tension, a small, unfinished sadness. that keeps the nervous system gently switched on. Sleep scientists have found that this emotional charge can matter as much as any racing thought. The body reads unresolved feeling as a reason to stay alert, the way it would near a sound it could not place. You may notice it as a tightness that has no words. The gentle truth is that you do not have to talk yourself out of the feeling tonight. Simply noticing it, without arguing, begins to lower its volume on its own. Rumination is the mind circling the same thought without moving forward. At night, this loop becomes easier to fall into because the usual distractions of daytime have gone quiet. Studies on the racing mind describe it as a groove the attention keeps sliding back into, the replayed conversation, the worry rehearsed one more time. The loop feels productive, as if enough thinking will finally close the matter. But rumination rarely solves. It mostly repeats. Knowing this is oddly freeing. When you recognize the circle for what it is, you are no longer inside it in the same way. You can let the thought arrive, notice it turning, and simply decline to chase it around the track one more time. The body has a built-in alarm system, and the mind can keep it running long after any real threat is gone. This is the stress response, a cascade of signals that raises heart rate, sharpens focus, and readies you for action. It is beautifully useful in daylight and deeply unhelpful at midnight. When worry keeps the system switched on, sleep researchers call the result hyperarousal, a state of being wound too tight to drop into rest. The mind, in a sense, is guarding a door that no longer needs guarding. The comforting part is that this system also has a natural release. When the signals of safety outnumber the signals of alarm, the body knows how to stand the guard down. One of the gentlest ideas from sleep therapy is that the bed should mean sleep, and little else. This is called stimulus control. Over months of restless nights, the mind can quietly learn to associate the bed with lying awake, planning, and frustration, until the pillow itself becomes a small cue for alertness. The remedy is patient and kind. Let the bed hold rest, and do wakeful things elsewhere. Over time, the association softens, and lying down begins to signal sleep again. It is not about strict rules. It is about teaching the mind, through repetition, that this particular place is where the day is finally allowed to end. Perhaps the strangest fact about sleep is that trying harder makes it harder to reach. Sleep scientists call this the sleep effort paradox. Sleep is not a task you can force through concentration, the way you might solve a problem or finish a chore. The more you strain toward it, the more you activate the very alertness that keeps it away. Effort raises arousal, and arousal holds sleep at a distance. This is why the perfect sleep advice can backfire. It turns rest into one more performance to get right. The quiet way through is almost the opposite of effort. Allowing, rather than achieving. Sleep tends to arrive most easily in the moment you stop reaching for it. The mind will not simply drop an unfinished worry, but it can be persuaded to set it down for the night. One well-studied approach is called worry time. A small, deliberate window earlier in the evening set aside for the concerns that usually surface in the dark. During that window, you let the worries be named, perhaps written down, given their moment of attention. The result is subtle but real. When the same thoughts rise at bedtime, the mind is more willing to let them wait, because it trusts they have already been heard. It is a way of telling yourself that nothing is being ignored, only postponed to a better hour than this one. The racing mind is often quietest when given something soft to hold. Sleep researchers have found that gentle, undemanding focus, a slow breath, the imagined texture of a familiar place, the simple weight of the body on the bed. You can loosen rumination's grip more effectively than trying to think of nothing. Emptying the mind is nearly impossible. Redirecting it is not. The attention offered a calm and slightly boring anchor, slowly stops scanning for problems. This is why counting or slow imagery has helped tired minds for generations. It is not magic. It is simply giving a restless attention somewhere kind to rest, until the reaching quietly fades. Here is what the mind's part of the night has been showing, piece by piece. The thoughts, the worry, the effort to sleep are not separate obstacles, but one connected pattern of arousal. And that pattern loosens through allowing, rather than fighting. The question we opened: what makes a night restorative, and where to begin, turns again here. It looks less like finding the right piece, and more like letting the mind stop guarding the door. Where you begin may matter far less than the moment your attention agrees to stop searching. That shift is not a technique. It is a small permission, and it is the ground the second half of tonight rests on. The mind is not the enemy of sleep, even on the nights it feels that way. Every racing thought, every guarded worry, is the same faithful system that keeps you safe by day, simply running past its hour. Modern sleep science keeps returning to one gentle conclusion. Rest arrives, not when the mind is forced silent, but when it feels safe enough to loosen its hold. You do not have to win an argument with your own attention tonight. You only have to let it slowly learn that, here, now, in this quiet room, there is nothing left that needs to be solved. The mind, given that safety, knows the rest of the way home. You just heard that the mind is not the enemy of sleep, only a faithful guard running past its hour. Somewhere behind your eyes, that same watchfulness may still be holding a thought or two. Notice where that holding sits right now. Perhaps a slight tightness at the temples, a low readiness in the chest, a thought that keeps circling back. You do not have to solve it. You do not have to make it leave. Let it be loosened rather than answered. the way a hand slowly opens when it no longer needs to grip. Feel your breath moving, slow and unhurried. It keeps going, even when a thought does not close. Let the guard rest now. The room around you shapes your sleep as much as your own mind does. For a long time, we treated the bedroom as just a backdrop, a place where sleep happened. Newer sleep research keeps pointing the other way. Light, sound, temperature, and even the surface you rest on send steady signals to your brain all night long. Your body reads these signals and adjusts. So the question of what makes sleep restorative is not only about you. It is also about where you lie down and what that place is quietly asking of you. Darkness is one of the strongest signals your body knows. That same master clock we met earlier, tuned to release melatonin, is listening for it right now. The catch is how little light it takes to interrupt the message. A bright hallway, a glowing charger, a street lamp through thin curtains. Each one whispers not yet to the brain, and the hormone that should be rising quietly stalls. So the work here is mostly subtraction, covering small lights, closing gaps in the curtains, or wearing a soft eye mask. Making your room truly dark lets that ancient signal finally arrive clean and complete. Not all light is equal in the eyes of your clock. The special cells that watch for daylight are most sensitive to blue wavelengths, the kind found in bright midday sun. That made sense for our ancestors. Blue meant day, and day meant stay awake. The trouble is that phone screens, tablets, and cool white bulbs also pour out blue light. To your inner clock, late-night scrolling can look like a small sunrise. This can push your melatonin later and delay sleep. Warmer, dimmer light in the evening speaks a gentler language your body has always understood. Temperature quietly guides you into sleep. As bedtime nears, your core body temperature naturally begins to fall, and this drop is part of the signal to rest. A cool room helps that process along. Studies point to a bedroom around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 degrees Celsius, as a comfortable target for many sleepers. When a room is too warm, the body struggles to shed heat, and deep sleep grows harder to reach. It sounds almost too simple. Yet, lowering the temperature a little can smooth the path your body was already trying to travel. Your hands and feet play a quiet part in falling asleep. To release heat and cool its core, the body opens up tiny blood vessels near the skin, especially in the hands and feet. This is why warm feet can actually help you drift off faster. A warm bath or shower, an hour or two before bed, can do the same thing. As your skin warms and then cools, blood moves outward, heat escapes, and your core temperature drops. That gentle fall is the very signal sleep has been waiting for, arriving through the quiet edges of your body. sound shapes sleep even when you do not fully wake. During the night, the sleeping brain keeps listening. A sudden noise, a door, akar, a voice. You can pull you into lighter sleep for a moment, even if you never remember it. These small interruptions add up and can leave you feeling less rested. This is why steady, soft sound sometimes helps. White noise, a fan, or gentle rain does not silence the world, but it smooths the sharp edges of sudden sounds. The brain stops startling at every small change and settles into a calmer, more even rhythm. The bed itself sends a message to your body. A mattress that is too firm or too soft can leave the spine slightly bent all night, and the body keeps making tiny adjustments to stay comfortable. Each small shift can nudge you toward lighter sleep. There is no single perfect surface for everyone. What matters is that your shoulders, hips, and spine feel supported and at ease. When the body finds a position it can hold without strain, it stops managing discomfort. It can finally let go, and the deeper stages of sleep have room to unfold. Bedding does more than keep you warm. The weight, breathability, and texture of your blankets shape how well your body holds its ideal temperature through the night. Heavy, non-breathable covers can trap heat and disturb the cooling your body needs. Lighter, the breathable layers let warmth escape as your core temperature falls. Some people also find comfort in gentle, even weight, which can feel calming and safe. The point is not luxury. It is that the fabrics around you either help your body settle or quietly work against it, 1 degree of warmth at a time. Screens affect sleep through more than light alone. Yes, the blue glow delays melatonin. But the content matters too. A tense show, an argument in a message, or an endless feed keeps the mind active and alert, raising the very arousal that sleep needs to fade. The brain cannot easily shift from stimulation to stillness in a single moment. This is why a screen right up to the pillow often leaves the mind racing in the dark. Setting the phone aside earlier gives both the eyes and the busy mind time to begin their slow descent. A wind-down routine tells your brain that sleep is coming. Your body loves patterns. When you repeat the same calm steps each night, dimming lights, washing up, reading a few soft pages, those actions become cues. Over time, the brain learns to link them with sleep, and it begins to prepare before your head even touches the pillow. This is not magic, it is simple learning. The routine does not have to be long or perfect. It only has to be steady. A gentle, repeated sequence becomes a bridge that carries you from the noise of the day into rest. A fixed wake time may be the most powerful habit of all. It can be tempting to sleep in after a rough night, but rising at the same time each morning keeps your inner clock steady. That single anchor helps set when you feel sleepy at night. When wake time drifts, the whole rhythm wobbles, and falling asleep grows harder. Even on weekends, holding a similar wake time keeps the pattern strong. It feels backward to fix your nights. You first steady your mornings. Yet the body reads that daily anchor as a promise it can plan around. Morning light sets the clock for the whole day. When daylight reaches your eyes soon after waking, it sends a clear message to your inner clock. The day has begun. This helps time your melatonin release for that evening, roughly 14 to 16 hours later. A short walk outside, or a few minutes by a bright window, can be enough. Indoor light is often far dimmer than we think, so real daylight matters. In this way, the light you seek in the morning quietly shapes how easily sleep will find you when night returns. Caffeine lingers far longer than its taste. Caffeine works by blocking a molecule called adenosine, the substance that builds up through the day and makes you feel sleepy. But caffeine does not leave quickly. Its half-life is around 5 to 6 hours, which means half of an afternoon coffee can still be circulating near bedtime. Even if you fall asleep, that lingering caffeine can lighten your sleep and trim the deep stages. This is why an early cutoff, often by early afternoon, helps. The pull toward rest is stronger when nothing is quietly holding the door open. Alcohol makes sleep feel closer but shallower. A drink in the evening can bring drowsiness, and many people fall asleep faster. Yet as the body breaks the alcohol down, sleep grows fragmented in the second half of the night. It suppresses REM sleep, the stage tied to dreaming and emotional processing, and leaves rest less restorative. You may sleep through the night and still wake tired. This is one of sleep's quiet honesties. What helps you drop off is not always what helps you stay in the deep, healing places sleep is meant to reach. Step back, and a pattern rises from all these small pieces. Light, temperature, sound, timing, the bed, the drink, the screen. None of them works alone. Each one touches a system, the others also touch. Cool a room, and deep sleep deepens. Dim the light, and the clock finds its rhythm. What began as a search for a single fix now looks different. There may be no one switch for restorative sleep. Instead, there is a web of gentle settings, each one small, together shaping the whole. The next facts follow that web toward where it leads. This is why small changes can matter more than big ones. Because sleep rests on a web of signals, a single tiny shift can ripple outward. Move your caffeine cutoff earlier, and your deep sleep improves, which steadies your mood, which makes the next night easier. One good change quietly supports the next. This also explains why chasing one sweeping fix often disappoints. The system responds best to several small, kind adjustments working together. You are not repairing a broken machine. You are tending a garden of settings. And even a little steady care can slowly change everything. Habit stacking helps new sleep changes actually stick. Willpower fades, but habits endure. One gentle method is to attach a new sleep habit to something you already do without thinking. After brushing your teeth, to dim the lights. After setting your morning alarm, place the phone across the room. The old habit becomes a cue for the new one, so you do not have to remember or decide each time. Over days and weeks, the new step becomes automatic. This is how lasting change is usually built, not through force, but by quietly weaving small acts into the fabric of what you already do. Trying to fix everything at once often backfires. When people overhaul their whole night in a single day, the change feels heavy, and it rarely lasts. The body and mind resist too much at once. A gentler path is to change one thing at a time and let it settle before adding the next. This week, perhaps only the morning light. Next week, the caffeine timing. Each change gets room to take root and show its effect. Slow does not mean weak. Slow means the new pattern has time to become truly yours. Layer by patient layer, a single week can hold a gentle beginning. Imagine spreading small changes across 7 nights. On the first days, you might simply step into morning light and hold a steady wake time. Midweek, you dim the evening lights and move your last coffee earlier. Later, you cool the room and set the phone aside before bed. None of these ask much on their own, yet by the end of the week, they begin to overlap and support one another. The point is not perfection. It is momentum, a soft, growing sense that rest is becoming easier to reach. Consistency matters more than any perfect night. It is easy to believe one flawless night of sleep will fix everything. But the body responds far more to steady patterns than to single victories. A regular wake time, a familiar wind down, a cool dark room repeated night after night. These teach the system what to expect. One perfect night inside a chaotic week does little. Many ordinary, steady nights do a great deal. There is comfort in this. You do not have to get any single night exactly right. You only have to keep gently returning to the pattern. The bedroom works best when it means only rest. When you work, eat, and worry in bed, the brain learns to link that space with alertness and stress. But when the bed is kept mostly for sleep, the mind begins to associate it with letting go. Simply lying down can start to feel like a cue to relax. This is why sleep guidance often suggests leaving the bed if sleep will not come, and returning only when drowsy. Over time, the room itself becomes a signal, a quiet place where the body knows exactly what it is here to do. Even the air you breathe shapes your rest. A stuffy, Warm room with stale air can make sleep lighter and leave you groggy in the morning. Fresh, slightly cool air supports the body's natural cooling and helps you breathe more easily through the night. Cracking a window, running a quiet fan, or airing the room before bed can shift how deeply you sleep. It is a small, almost invisible detail. Yet the environment reaches all the way down to each breath, reminding us again that restful sleep is built from many quiet things at once. All these threads gather into one clear picture. Restorative sleep is not a single act of the brain, sealed off from the world. It is the meeting place of your mind's calm, your body's chemistry, and the room that holds you. Psychology sets the stage, the ease or worry you bring to the dark. Biology runs beneath. The clock, the hormones, the falling temperature, and environment surrounds it all. Light, sound, air, and warmth. Sleep is a system spanning all three, and it is most restorative when these parts are allowed to work together, gently, as one. Right now, notice how little effort your breathing is asking of you. The falling temperature we spoke of is already happening in your own body, without a single instruction from you. The room is doing its quiet work, and so is the clock deep in your brain, and so is the slow settling of your thoughts. You do not have to hold these pieces together. They already know how to meet. Let your shoulders soften, and let the whole system carry you the way it was always meant to. What we have been circling is very close now. Seen this way, you are never sleeping alone. Around you, the darkened room, the cool air, and the quiet all lean in the same direction you do. Inside you, hormones ebb and the inner clock keeps time. And within your mind, the day's worries loosen their grip. These are not separate helpers. They are one system, moving together toward the same rest. There is something gentle in this truth. You are not solely responsible for your sleep. You share the work with your body, your habits, and the still, patient space around you. So here is what the night has been showing, piece by piece. Restorative sleep is a system spanning psychology, biology, and environment, each part shaping and supporting the others. There is no single lever, no lone fix. There is a web of small, kind conditions that, together, let deep rest arrive. This is the complete guide the title promised. Not one secret, but a way of seeing. When mind, body, and room align, sleep does what it has always done best. The remaining facts carry a softer quality now, turning from how sleep works toward what it means. The three parts of sleep do not work in separate rooms. A calm mind lowers the stress hormones that keep the body tense. A relaxed body sends fewer alarm signals up to the brain. and a dark, cool room quietly tells both of them that the day is truly over. Each one makes the next one easier. You do not have to perfect all three at once. When one softens, it gently pulls the others along with it, like three friends leaning into the same slow rhythm. Your body has a memory for bedtime. When you sleep at roughly the same hour each night, your inner clock begins to prepare in advance. An hour or so before, it starts cooling your core, releasing melatonin, and slowing your thoughts without being asked. This is why consistency feels almost magical over time. You are not forcing sleep. You are simply arriving when your body has already set the table. The rhythm does the heavy lifting, quietly, in the background, night after night. Small changes compound the way single drops fill a bowl. One slightly earlier bedtime feels like nothing. But repeated across a week, it shifts your whole clock forward. One dimmer evening barely registers, yet 10 of them retrain your brain's sense of dusk. Sleep rewards patience, not intensity. The person who changes one gentle thing and keeps it usually rests better than the person who changes everything for 2 nights and then gives up. Slow and steady truly wins this quiet race. There is no single first step that works for everyone. For one person, it is a darker room. For another, it is putting the phone in another space. For someone else, it is simply a steadier wake-up time. The science does not crown one winner. It only asks you to begin somewhere small and stay with it. The best first step is not the perfect one. It is the one you will actually keep doing after the motivation fades. When you finally stop chasing sleep, sleep tends to come closer. Trying hard to fall asleep activates the very alertness that keeps you awake. This is why the harder some nights feel, the longer they last. Letting go is not giving up. It is removing the pressure that was holding the door shut. Rest is less like grabbing something and more like loosening your grip until it settles into your open hands on its own, quietly, in the dark. A hard night does not erase your progress. Sleep varies naturally, even in healthy people who do everything right. Stress, a late meal, a loud street, or nothing at all can make one night lighter. The system does not break because of a single rough night. It simply adjusts and continues. Judging yourself for a bad night often causes more lost sleep than the bad night itself. One difficult evening is a ripple, not a return to the beginning. Self-kindness is a sleep tool, not a luxury. When you lie awake and speak gently to yourself, your nervous system reads that softness as safety. When you scold yourself for still being awake, you flood the body with the very tension that delays rest. The words you offer yourself at midnight matter more than most people realize. A kind inner voice is not weakness. It is one of the quietest, most reliable ways to help the body finally let down its guard. Your body genuinely wants to sleep. Underneath every worry sits a powerful biological drive built over millions of years. The pressure to sleep rises steadily the longer you are awake, pushing you toward rest, whether you plan it or not. You are not fighting an unwilling body. You are working with one that is already leaning towards sleep. Your job is simply to stop blocking the path. Given the right quiet conditions, the drive does the rest almost entirely on its own. Sleep is one of the few systems that repairs itself. If you lose rest, your body naturally seeks deeper, more efficient sleep the following nights to recover what it missed. Scientists call this catch-up sleep, and it happens without any effort from you. This built-in correction means you do not have to manage every night perfectly. The system is designed to forgive gaps. Over time, it quietly balances itself, pulling you back toward what your mind and body actually need. The pressure to fix everything can itself become the problem. When rest turns into another task to master, the bedroom fills with quiet performance, anxiety. But sleep is not a test you pass or fail. It is a state you allow. The moment you let go of getting it exactly right, the body often relaxes into the very rest you were straining for. Doing less at bedtime is frequently the most powerful thing you can do for your sleep. A restorative night is built from ordinary moments. It is the walk you took in the afternoon light, the screen you set down a little earlier, the room you let grow cool and dim. None of these felt grand. Yet together, they shaped the depth of your sleep hours later. Good rest is rarely one grand decision. It is a handful of small, gentle choices, gathered quietly across the day, quietly waiting to meet you when your head finally touches the pillow. You can trust the parts you cannot control. While you sleep, your brain clears waste, your memories settle, your hormones rebalance, and your tissues repair. You do not manage any of it. You simply provide the darkness and the stillness, and the ancient machinery inside you handles the rest. There is deep relief in this. So much of restorative sleep is not about doing more. It is about trusting a body that already knows exactly how to heal when you let it. Rest returns, even after long stretches of poor sleep. The body holds no permanent grudge against difficult seasons. When conditions finally steady, sleep tends to deepen again, sometimes more richly than before, as if making up for lost ground. This is why beginning matters more than your history. You are never too far behind to start. The system that carried you through every night of your life is still there, still ready, waiting patiently for the first small change you choose to keep. One gentle step is often enough to begin a shift. You do not need a perfect routine or a flawless bedroom. You need one small thing you can repeat. As that single habit steadies, it quietly makes the next change easier, and the one after that. Momentum in sleep is gentle, not forced. It grows from one kept promise to yourself, small enough to feel almost invisible, yet strong enough to slowly reshape how your nights unfold. The question we began with has quietly answered itself. We asked, what makes sleep restorative and where to begin? The truth is that no single piece holds the whole answer. What heals you is the way the parts reinforce one another once you stop demanding they all arrive at once. Restorative sleep was never a trick to master. It is a system to trust, entered through one gentle step, and it has been leaning toward you the entire time. Letting go of the perfect night makes rest possible. There is no flawless sleep to achieve, no ideal routine that fixes everything forever. There are only good enough nights, gathered gently over time. The night does not have to be perfect to be healing. When you release the fantasy of perfect rest, you stop fighting the ordinary, imperfect sleep that actually restores you. Freedom lives in that release. It only needs you to stop standing in its way. Your effort was never the missing ingredient. Many people believe that if they just tried harder, slept smarter, or optimized more, rest would finally come. But the deepest repair happens when effort ends. The body does not wait for your permission to heal. It begins the moment you lie down and grow still. You were not failing all those difficult nights. You were simply carrying a weight that was never yours to lift in the first place. Tonight asks almost nothing of you. You do not have to remember every fact or follow every rule. You only have to let the day loosen and allow the room, your body, and your slowing mind to do what they already know. This is the quiet mercy hidden inside sleep science. All the mechanisms, all the systems, all the careful research point back to one soft instruction. Rest. The rest has already been arranged for you, from the inside out. Beginning is gentler than it sounds. You do not have to overhaul your life tonight. You simply choose one small kindness for your future sleep and let that be enough. Maybe it is a dimmer light. Maybe it is a slower breath. Maybe it is forgiving yourself for the nights that came before. Whatever it is small on purpose. Small is what lasts. And what lasts is what quietly, patiently heals you. One unremarkable night at a time. The room around you is already helping. The cool air, the soft dark, the quiet you have gathered are all speaking to your nervous system in a language older than words. You did not have to earn this calm. You only had to let it in. As you rest here now, the environment itself is doing part of the work, lowering your guard, slowing your breath, and reminding your body that this is a safe place to finally set the day down. Trust is the last piece, and the first. Trust that your body knows how to sleep. Trust that one small step is enough. Trust that a hard night will not undo you, and that a gentle one will find you again. This trust is not naive. It rests on a system built over millions of years, refined in every ancestor who ever closed their eyes in the dark. You are the newest keeper of something ancient and reliable and kind. Sleep meets you halfway when you let it. As your thoughts slow and your muscles soften, chemical signals rise to carry you downward into deeper rest. You are not doing this alone. Something inside you is reaching up to meet your stillness, ready to take the weight the moment you release it. All you offer is the willingness to stop holding on. From there, a gentle current you never have to steer carries you the rest of the way home. The whole system is on your side. Your mind wants quiet. Your body wants repair. The night wants to hold you. Nothing in this design is working against you. Every part is leaning in the same direction, toward the same soft outcome, waiting only for you to stop resisting and let it happen. There is no opponent here at bedtime. There is only a quiet cooperation, arranged long before you were born, gathering now to carry you gently into rest. You have already begun. Simply lying here, letting the words slow and the room grow dim. You have taken the one gentle step that starts everything. There is no grand beginning still to come. This is it, small and quiet and enough. The system you have been learning about is not somewhere in the future. It is here, now, working softly beneath your slowing breath, welcoming you into the rest it has been holding open for you all along. You were never meant to fix it all at once. The healing was never waiting on the perfect routine or the flawless night. It was waiting only for you to begin. Gently, with one small thing, and to let yourself be carried the rest of the way. Tonight you do not have to earn your rest or master it. You only have to lay it all down and trust the quiet system that has been reaching for you the whole time. 100 quiet steps ago, sleep felt like a puzzle you kept failing to solve, with every new piece of advice adding to the weight. Now, it looks like something far simpler and far kinder. We followed the mind as it learned to soften its own midnight voice, and the body as it lowered its temperature and released melatonin without being told. We watched a cool, dark room speak an ancient language of safety, and we saw how catch-up sleep quietly forgives the nights that go wrong. What began as a search for the missing trick became an answer about trust. The parts were reaching for each other the whole time. You do not need every trick at once. The system heals you the moment you stop demanding perfection and begin with a single gentle step. What you carry now is not a longer checklist. But, permission. To permission to start small and to let the rest arrive on its own. Perhaps This slow walk through the science of restful sleep loosened some of the pressure you have been carrying to get every night exactly right. A gentle like, subscribe, or share helps another tired mind find this quiet place, and the same soft permission to begin small. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. Right now, the melatonin in your body is still rising, unhurried, with no effort from you. The room has already cooled a little around you. Your breath has already slowed. Somewhere, beneath awareness, your mind is filing the day away, and your body is beginning its quiet repair. None of it needs you to manage it. It was never waiting on your effort. Let your entire being dissolve into that gentle system. The mind, the body, and the quiet room, all leaning the same soft direction. You do not have to hold any of it together. It has been holding you all along. You can allow these thoughts to settle now, like the last dim light in the room, fading into a darkness that asks nothing of you. Let your body grow heavy with the work that is already underway. If sleep comes, let it carry you to the place where nothing needs fixing, where one small step was always enough. The Sleepy Science playlist has spent many hours in this territory, the slow ground where the body's quiet systems finally get to speak. The next hour follows the part of tonight's question. This one didn't have time to finish. What the mind lets go of, once the body has already begun to heal. That hour is waiting whenever you are ready. But if your eyes are closed, stay there. Rest well, gentle mind. You were never meant to carry it all at once. Where science becomes the softest place to rest. Good night.